Hello everyone, welcome back to Coding with West Pie. My name is West Pie, and welcome to the Script Squad. And that is for those who have hit that bell notification. If you have not hit that bell notification, you need to do so now so you can be in the Cool Kids Club. Because guess what? The cool kids are the best subscribers. And I'm telling you that here first and now. Also, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you comment, and you let me know what I'm doing well or what I'm not doing well. So, we have on our left here a command prompt. And I've built a program that worked relatively well. And we're going to build that again, okay? And as you can see, it does a little factorial thing or a little factors thing, and just what numbers can be combined to get that output that we desire. So that's going to take a little bit to get to. However, what I first want to talk about is our favorite old function here, print. Okay? This little print function has a lot of power to it, and it can be misunderstood that it's very simple, and that maybe it's not as complex, or there's maybe not as much involved here as you would like to think is involved. But in fact, if we instead do print, okay, then we get none, okay? So let's try to dig into that none. Let's try to understand what that means, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to print help, and then we're going to get some help on print, okay? Well enough. Then we're also going to print help as a property, okay? And we're not going to actually call it as a function, okay? All right, well enough. And then we're also going to print the dir of print, okay? So we're gonna do this a couple times. We're gonna make sure we get as much information as possible, okay? And there we go. So we got some information on print. Now, what you're gonna see here, class none type. So this is declaring that is of the class none type. It returns none, okay? And then you're also gonna notice here that it has some parameters. These are defined in the function, and then you're also going to notice it has some different dunder methods. We're not going to be covering those right now, so that's not really that important. But what is important, that is really big to see, is this module built-ins. Okay, so let's try to figure this out. Okay, so import built-ins. You're going to hear that word a lot in Python. Okay, when you hear built-ins and you're wondering, what is built-ins? What is it all about? You're about to find out. Okay, so you're going to print help built-ins. Okay, and let's see what we can find. Okay, whoa, squeeze text, 9,000 lines. Are you really want to explain it? Oh yeah, I want to know. Let me in. Let me know, Python. What do you got hiding in here? Oh man, okay, so 9,000 lines. I'm about as confused as it just started, and this is a beginner's tutorial. Oh my god, my brain. I don't know what's going on here anymore. This is too much. Oh man, just looking at this is too much. Don't worry, it's not too much. I'm gonna get you there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ignore all of this. This is important, not for our purposes. Instead, we're gonna roll right to the end of this file, these 9,000 something lines, and we're gonna go up, 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 and we found print. Okay? That is where print lies in Python, or at least the information about print. Okay? And so you see functions. Okay? So every time you're using a print function in Python, you are using the function of the module built-ins, okay? And when Python is first fired up, you absolutely must understand that built-ins are being imported. So when we just did that import, that is happening at the very beginning of Python, no matter what, okay? Because without it, you would not have the functionality of the print function. So let's take a step back. Let's come back over here. Let's think about if we want to be able to use our own functions, then how do we do that? Well, first let's design our own little bit of code. Since you've seen most of these things already, I'm not going to even bother really explaining it, as I've already gone through these things multiple times. We're just going to build it out real quick. So we're going to do a little factorial. F equals a number, so let's do this. And now we're going to do print, and we have the parameters, the factors of, and we're going to pass the argument x. Okay, we've passed a string, now we're passing x. Now we're going to pass another argument, which is r. Okay, nothing that crazy, right? And says for I in range 1. Okay, and then we're going to do f plus 1. So the max, or f plus 1, not 12, 1. Okay, so the max of f, so it would be 569. Okay, and if that f is divisible by I, okay, and that does not, and that equals exactly to 0, so the remainder modulo, that's the operator right there, is, and the remainder is equal to 0, we're going to print I. Okay, so that's it. That's all we're gonna do, and we're gonna run this. Oh, it would help if we did F, not X. Okay, there we go. And the factors of 568 are 1, 2, 4, 8, 71, 142, 284, and 568. Of course, you compare these up, 284 to 2, 142 to 4, and so on and so forth, and you will get the absolute correct thing that you want. So we've built a little bit of code here. We have our blocks all put together. Okay, fair enough. Now, I also want to come on back to here because we talked about that built-ins thing. Okay, so I want to try something out directly from the shell. It works from the file as well, but this will make more sense here. Import built-ins, right? We already did this, but we're gonna try something else. So now we know there's built-ins. All right, let's try this. From built-ins, import print. Oh, from built-ins, import range. Oh, from built-ins, import ABS. Aha! So that's how you get your functions right there, okay? That makes sense, does it not? Of course it does, right? That's how we're doing this. Each and every time we want to use this function, not each and every time we want to use this function, it's only called once it is when Python starts, but that is how you get your print function. That's how you get your range. That's how you get your absolute value, okay? So now we want to be able to make our own little print function. Well, not literally print, because that would be displaying to the entire screen, and that's not the purpose here. Instead, we want to be able to take this block of code, this factorial code, right? Because look, if we come here and we type in Python, and it's Python tutorial functions.py, well, it also displays all that extra information that we did not intend to leave kicking out there. So let's get rid of all that real quick. We don't really need this. Actually, we'll just comment this out, okay? Because we don't really need it right now. Or 3, not 4. Okay, but so as you can see, it says the factors, but the problem is we can't do this again. It happened, and that's kind of it, you know. So now we have to do something about this. Like, how do we do this? Okay, So what we need to do is we need to define our own function. How do we do that? We do this. Def factors, okay, and it's going to be, we're going to pass in a parameter. We're going to define our own parameters of x, okay, and in case you're wondering like what parameters, like you could do this, right? End equals, we could do star, okay, so you just kind of get like some reference of parameters, which we've already kind of covered those, but just in case you're a little confused, you know, I don't want you to be even the slightest bit confused, so we're just going to do that, this, okay, beautiful. Man, this thing is not being very nice to me right now, okay, so you see how that ended, that put that little star at the end of it, alright, that's all that does, and that's just certain functionality that's defined by the person who built the print function, okay. So we're going to go back to defining our function, which is going to be called factors, okay, and it's going to take in an argument, or it's going to take in an argument of x, and we'll have the parameter x. We'll take an argument that is an integer, well, the parameter will be defined as x, and then we're just going to build it the same way. For I in, or we need a print function again, so print the factors of, and we're going to put that x, okay, we're passing that again, r, okay, excellent, for I in range, we're going to start at 1 again, and this time we're going to use x plus 1, okay, excellent, and if our x, our past value, is divisible, or if the remaining division of this parameter is equal to exactly 0, then we want to print, not p print, we want to print, come on, print, there we go, print I, okay. And also, just for the sake of, you know, like the C style developers and stuff like that, we want to return 0. So that way we make sure that it is all closed out, right? Like the function is done, okay? And so if we run this in here, okay, there we go. Problem is, it doesn't show anything, okay? So now we need to call our function, and we can pass an argument, we'll give it a number, factors, that's what it's called now, factor. Okay, 349, or 1 and 349. All right, great. So now we have some reusable code. All right, so we can run it from anywhere pretty much. Right, excellent. Now that's all good, right? Like we can come in here from, or we can import Python tutorial and call it functions, and we're not going to turn that down, that dimness at all, because this is now the, let's see, oh, well that would help, right? Okay, and now we can do this, okay, we can pass a value, and oh, we need to from, okay, from Python tutorial functions, import factors. And now we can use that function. We can pass it a value, and now we can get our factors. Okay, so great, right? Great, beautiful. We know that our function now works. We now know it's reusable. Anybody could use our code. No big issue. You know, I like that, right? Like that's ultimately what the plan is here. We want our code to be reusable. Now, let's actually get rid of this return statement because it just looks ugly when we're using this function. I don't want to really return 0 at the end. So we have our function. We can use it. We can import our file. We can use our function in a file. Someone else could come along, use our file, and they'd be able to import our function. So they could actually improve on it or whatever they so chose to do. Now, there's one fundamental problem we're going to run into here, and that is this thing is not ready to be used. Okay, so to actually use this thing outside of just this, right? Like this works perfectly okay, but we're going to take this a step further, and we're going to say if main, okay, is equal exactly to, and I'm hoping I get this right because I always get this thing wrong. Okay, let's just make sure this runs right now. Print some words. Okay, let's just make sure this works. Okay. Okay, so we got our little bit of and this line of code, what this is essentially saying is that if this thing is put together the way it's supposed to be, if this file is exactly this file, then do this. Okay, which is kind of weird, but it's the syntax that's required for Python. Also, if you hear the random weird booms in the back, no, it's not guns going off or any bombs. It's actually New Year's Eve, and everybody's been letting off fireworks for a while, so all good and all well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up some stuff. We're going to say print, and it's going to say to exit. We're going to make this a proper program. To exit the program, enter 0. Okay, fair enough. So while true, okay, and it's going to say fact equals integer input. Okay, we haven't really covered the input function yet, but you know, you're going to see it here and how to use it. Enter a number, and actually we're going to make it even easier for those who are kind of unsure what's going on. Enter an integer, okay, so that way when somebody comes along and they want to use our code, they know exactly what kind of code this or what kind of value this takes. And now we're going to say if the fact equals exactly 0, we want to exit our program. Okay, else what we want to do is we want to call our function and we want to pass that fact to it, that input. Okay, and that is about it. So let's give it a run. Let's see how it goes. 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, let's see how that goes. For some reason, this is giving me just 1. Why is this giving me 1? Oh, well, you know what? It might be because I'm using an odd number. There we go. And as you can see, this thing will crunch very large factors, okay? It may take a while, but it'll do it. Although we may have just broken it. We'll see what happens here. I think we did break it. Which is always good, right? Because you're trying to figure out, like, well, how do you break stuff? This is how you break stuff. You give it too big of a number that it just can't handle. It seems like we did succeed in breaking it. So we know that there's some limits here, right? Limitations. There's limitations of hardware. There's limitations of software. You know. Let's try that. Okay. I mean, and as you can see, it's it's gonna keep looping until you hit 0. And then you can close it, and then that's it. And then if we want to do this, we can do this. Oh, we can do that. Okay. And now, if we run this from the terminal or the command prompt, we will be able to keep running our program. Okay? And that's just like these print functions. The print function. It's just like the range function. It's like the absolute value function. If it did not have this line right here, it would not work. It would not continuously allow us to keep using our functions. So that's why this is important also, so that we can define our own functions and we can keep using our functions in a loop until forever. And this is where while comes in, right? Like I may have said in the last video or two, or last video, that while loops are not very common and I would stay away from them. For the most part, that is 100% true. But in this case, we want to we don't need to know how many loops we're doing here. We're just doing infinite loops because we want to just keep infinitely using our program, just like any other program that you would ever use, okay? So that's really how to use functions, how to build functions, how to make it, what the functions in Python, how you can actually figure them out, where they are, how to access them. I mean, this is very comprehensive, and this covers a lot of information, and this digs a lot deeper than a lot of the baselines would cover, and we're definitely going a little bit beyond just basics. But I figure for those who are new to Python, maybe you're going to want some of these things demystified and simplified. So that's what this is about here. Also, for those who are a bit more intermediate or maybe even advanced, and like say you've built a website or two, you want to be able to be like, well, what is this exactly? And you still don't really know, and you've been wondering, you want to be able to find the print function. That's how you can do it right there. So I hope you did learn something, and I hope that this was very, very helpful. Make sure you do hit that bell notification to subscribe to the Script Squad. You like, you comment, you let me know how I'm doing. I love you, you love me, and we're a big old team. Peace out and happy coding.